Welcome to Women in the Arena podcast, the podcast celebrating women doing extraordinary things in plain sight. I'm your host, Audra Egan, and our mission is to elevate the value, strength, and resilience each woman brings to the world. Without further delay, let's go ahead and start the show. Welcome to Season 3 of Women in the Arena podcast. I'm your host, Audra Egan, and thank you so much for being part of this community that celebrates women doing extraordinary things in plain sight. We are celebrating yet another magnificent woman today, so let's go ahead and start the show. Welcome in, everyone, and I am so excited that you're here. I am with such an exciting and dynamic woman today, and she is going to fill you up and make you start thinking about who you are and what you were born to be. I'm joined by Leila Rezaiguia, and she is a multilingual and highly sought after professional systematic team coach. She has worked in corporate America, but has left to chase her passion to help others chase theirs. She is the leader and owner of Compass Consultancy, and she's here today to talk to us about her passion. It is my pleasure and my honor to introduce to you Leila Rezaiguia. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Audra. Lovely to be here. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
I am so excited for you to be here. You have such a lovely and wonderful energy, and you embody the goals that I seek after to continue to push this podcast to the next level. And I'm very excited for you to be here. And you have just a fascinating background. And first I'll start with that you are originally from Algeria, but now live in Turkey. So I'm fascinated by this. So tell us a little bit about, first of all, Algeria, because everybody has a really different visual of what Algeria is. So can you tell us what it really is? What's Algeria really like?
You took me back to my home country that I miss so much, and I miss my parents so much. So Algeria, it's a phenomenal Mediterranean North African country, surrounded by Tunisia and Morocco. Such a diverse culturally, food-wise, culture, spices, mountain, sea. It's got all the four seasons. And I was born in a hometown. My hometown is called Oran. So it's the economic city. It's to the western part. We're closer to Morocco. So we've got lots of common traditions with Morocco. And we're half an hour away from Spain. So it's got that North African, Mediterranean flavor. So that's my Algeria.
Oh, what an interesting culture to come from, because it's got this beautiful, rich mix of this diverse cultures all merging together. It sounds like a beautiful place.
It is indeed. And we've had the Ottomans, we've had the Spanish, we've had the French, we've had Jewish living there, Arabs, Muslim, Christians. So it's culturally very, very diverse. So that's where I get my identity, my cultural heritage. That's where it comes from that land.
So that's from the multilingual that lends itself to wanting to being able to communicate with people in their own tongue, so to speak.
Absolutely. That's why I'm an avid learner of languages. And as we speak, I'm currently learning Turkish. So that's my fourth language.
Wow. Yeah. So speaking of Turkey, tell us about Turkey. What is the experience like for you living in Turkey?
So it's a recent move that only happened being actually that I made possible by being the dream catcher of my life. I am a dream catcher and I dream big and I make the impossible possible by connecting with my intuition. So it was, I've been coming to Turkey for the last few years. And last year I came here over summer because all my work is virtual. So I came here to actually work from here and enjoy life as well. That's something else about me. I love enjoying life fully, be it work and life outside of work. And I realized that, oh, okay, now that everything is virtual, I can actually be where I am surrounded by nature, where I can co create with nature. That is such an inspiration for my work. So I'm now spending time between Turkey and Dubai. So I'm getting the best of both worlds.
That's amazing that you had a dream and you went and chased it. And you're right, we're virtual. We can work from anywhere as long as we have an internet connection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's possible because then I can just choose to be here a few months and then I go back to Dubai and then I come back here and I go somewhere else, which was not possible in my work when I was doing like 80% face to face. But now it is so possible.
It's one of the silver linings of this really strange last 15 months. I mean, this
Hmm.
uh, it's our conversation is made possible through this because I'm in Phoenix,
Absolutely.
Arizona, and you're in
Hmm.
Turkey,
And
and
I'm in
it's
boardroom Turkey.
yes,
Exactly.
exactly, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing to take advantage of the opportunities that first look like dilemmas, and I
Hmm.
think that's a great segue into why we're talking today. And you hinted to it by saying you're a dream catcher, and I mean you are the embodiment of a dream catcher. Tell us a little bit
Oh,
more
thank you.
of what that means to you. So I know that first of all, your part of your background is that you were a corporate executive for a really long time, and
Mhm.
you you changed because your dream changed. So tell us a little bit more about that journey.
Hmm. And I love when you said, Audra, that your dream changed, and it has changed and continues changing. So, by me being a dream catcher, I've always believed in dreaming big and not knowing how I'm going to get there, as long as I just keep dreaming. So, I've always been a dreamer, but I've always been the dream catcher that actually makes things happen, not just dreaming in a la la land. I love dreaming in a la la land, but I do come back to earth, if that makes
Yes.
sense. So
Yes.
I do actually manifest consciously my dreams, and I work really hard. Hey, I'm not talking about a fantasy world. People who know me and my clients who know me and my family, of course, I'm a very hard worker and I'm a passionate hard worker. I bring in my energy, I bring in my passion in everything I do. Otherwise, I won't do it. So I work really hard to achieve these dreams. And that's the reward. For me, it's just dream big of what you're passionate about. And then once you're conscious about that, just send it out to the universe and it will take care of. As long as I'm doing everything it takes within what I can control. Because to me, life is but a dream.
You took this natural passion that you have for yourself. This is a natural state for you as you dream big and you chase it, and
Indeed.
you don't always know how you're going to get there. You just know
No.
that you will. But you took this and you manifested this because you thought, okay, this is what I'm here to do. And you
Hmm.
started guiding other people to do the same. And when I first spoke with you, you said something so beautiful and something that resonated with me so much because, we're in a constant state of evolution. And specifically as women, we get buried with our roles that we're playing.
Hmm.
We are wives, we are mothers, we are employees, we are sisters, we are daughters. We play many, many, many roles. And I find that, unfortunately, and I found it for myself, that I'm buried under these roles. I get lost in the middle because I'm so busy doing
Yeah.
all this other stuff. But what you said to me, and it made me stop in my tracks, and I really
What
thought
did I
about it.
say?
Oh, you're
What
like,
did I
what
say? I
more
can't
did
even
I
remember.
say? You're like, what did I say? You said that you help people find themselves so then they can discover who they really are and what they were really meant to do. That takes my breath away. And
Oh,
so,
now I
so
remember what I said.
I'm certainly not doing it justice, but will you just tell us what's behind that?
So for me, and especially nowadays in leadership, you hear a lot about authenticity, authentic leadership, and these are lots of buzzwords that I hear in a corporate environment. What I really, my biggest passion, when we set up my business partner and myself, Compass, 8 years ago, we're turning 8 in September. That's awesome.
Congratulations.
That's when
That
I
is
left the corporate. That's when I left the corporate environment. Um, our dream and passion was to inspire people's discovery. And how I translate it into what I do is I help inspire other people's discoveries in their life in general. My focus is in a corporate environment because I work with executives and I work with graduates and I work with senior leaders and C-suites to help them own who they are. But before they own it, I help them connect with who they truly are, regardless of all those roles and all those hats that they have. And for me, the true essence is really when you connect with who you were born with. And what is, in other terms, in another, teachings that I have, it's called your seed that you're born with. We all came to this universe and this life with a gift. We're all born gifted, whatever that gift is. But the way we've been living and the way we've been, it's kind of been shut down. And the family expectation and the school teacher's expectation and the headmaster, and then you go to the corporate environment, and everybody expects something of you. Then we tend to wanting to fit in to please other people. And I'm sick and tired of seeing people, definitely, and I say it out loud to all the audience listening, I am sick and tired of seeing people playing small in their life. So the reason why I'm here in this life is to help people, connect with who they are and claim who they are, because that's the only way for them to show up fully and wholeheartedly in their own life and play a big role in their own life.
That's, you said, sick and tired of people playing small in their own life. What a very simple statement that is a huge sentiment, because we, like I said before, we're all buried under these roles, but more importantly, we're buried under all of these expectations and societal expectations, and we end up trying to shrink ourselves to fit in that. First of all, that the journey sounds fascinating and also sounds terrifying. Because
and continues to be. It's not over yet. Otherwise, I'll be dead.
Exactly. Because it's when you've shrunk yourself, when you finally allow yourself to expand, that's a new scary journey. And it sounds, like I said, it sounds exciting and terrifying all at the same time. Can you give us a glimpse into what that journey looks like?
Yeah, and I just thought about. We just posted on LinkedIn today one of the testimonials of a coachee that we trained recently. So I've got another business, which is I'm the Middle East head of the Academy of Executive Coaching, which is a UK company, and we're a coach training triple accredited programs. And what I do is I train people to become executive coaches. And this whole journey of 4 months for them to become executive coaches, that's my other passion. I coach people, but I'm passionate about training others so that they can help others own who they are. The whole journey, the two underpinnings question is, who am I and how do I coach? Because who I am is how I coach. So that 4 month journey, when I listened to testimonial we posted on LinkedIn today from one of the participants, it wasn't about the coaching skills that the person learned. It was about the journey of discovering who she truly was, that this journey actually helped her to connect with and to own. And to me, when I see people's face lit up and heart and soul lit up, it brings such a joy into my heart, because I feel like I've contributed to the awakening of somebody's soul to actually show up fully in their life.
How
I hope this makes sense.
It does make sense. How do people get there? Because, like I said, we're buried under stuff, and I'm sure that people are hesitant. I mean, they want to, but they're like, well, how do I do this? How do I pull back all these layers to the raw me?
And I go back to something that we call psychological safety. I mean, people need to feel safe, to trust. So when I coach people on one-to-one, I just finished a coaching session just prior to us now meeting. And I spent a 90 minutes with a client. She's a female, and my passion, and I say it out loud, I love working with women because we are underrepresented, and women are so talented and so gifted. But again, as you quite rightly said, with the different roles and all this, then they tend to shrink and don't really own that voice. So I was just working with this client, and it was really about having a voice so that the senior management in that organization can hear her, and that she can actually, influence those strategic initiatives that she's working on. But there was an underlying lack of confidence and assertiveness in how are they going to perceive me. I never worked with a man who tells me this, because men simply don't care about how others will perceive them. They just go for it. And do they know how to do it and get it right all the time? The answer is no. But they go for it. But most of the women that I work with, this is what happens. So how do I do this? Is basically, and by the end of this session, it was a 90-minute session. What this client told me, she said, thank you for allowing me actually to face this, because I offered her challenge. I challenged her. I challenged that thinking. I offered her this for the sake of her growth. And she said, you know what? Thank you for doing this. I heard that you're challenging, because I already coach in that organization. She said, and I just heard that, yeah, you do this. And I'm seeing now what other people meant when you do offer challenge, because you're doing this for me to grow, because I'm committed to grow. How did I do this? Is by creating a safe environment, which is non-judgmental, that I'm there to support you, to hear you, to listen to you, to support you, but also to challenge you. Otherwise, you're going to stay where you are. And I don't work with people who stay in their comfort zone. Because for me to believe in yourself and grow and shine and tap to who you really are, you really need to be challenged. Otherwise, you're going to continue living your life the same way you did and being unhappy with the results that you didn't get. So psychological safety is extremely important for people to feel safe, to be heard and not judged. And I get this feedback over and over again, be it men or women. When they share something, be it in the training context, when I'm training coaches or when I'm having my one-to-one executive coaching clients, they say that I've never shared this with anybody else. Like, I've not even said this to my wife or to my husband. Nobody knows this. So that's when people really open up. So psychological safety and trust, which is actually one of the core coaching competencies as per ICF.
I did not know that. That is actually fascinating. And, to comment to women being hesitant and not understanding their own power of their voice. And I absolutely know why. We all know why, because from little girls were trained to be pretty and not rock the boat.
Good
And
girl. A good
yeah,
girl. Be a
good
good
girl.
girl.
Exactly. Be a good girl and do this and do that. We're not trained to be boisterous. We're not taught to be bold and audacious. That is not something that we are traditionally taught to be or to do. Boys are allowed to fall out of trees and break their arms. Girls are supposed to be clean and pretty and go play with dolls, and we aren't taught to be outspoken, and I am challenging my own self to do that, to show up and speak, because you can still be thoughtful and nurturing and still have a voice. You can do all of that. And what I'm curious about is you are bringing women into connecting with their own voice and feeling that power of who they really are. What is some of the most significant transformations that you have witnessed through helping them connect with that inner power that has been there the entire time? They just didn't know it. Kind of like Dorothy with her little red slippers. She had the power to go home forever. She just didn't believe it. And you just taught them that you've been wearing the red slippers the entire time. All you had to do was click your heels and go. This episode is sponsored by Belleville Capital Management. When you need a friend in the small business arena, reach out to Belleville for your planning, lending, and investment needs. A friendly consultant will help you find the solutions that you are looking for. Belleville Capital Management, a friend to small business.
And I love the metaphor that you bring in here, Audra. And I have to say, just a statement here, and I'm so grateful, and I want to honor a person who's so dear to my heart, and that's my father, because my father taught me to have a voice and to own that voice. And that's where my confidence actually, I grew up having a voice and everybody listening to that voice, starting with my own family, then at school, then at work. Did I have enemies or conflicts? Big time, yes, because people were not used to having a woman sharing her voice and opinion. Yeah, so I had to learn it the hard way. And that's what I made this a mission, that you know what? Every woman has a voice, but no one can teach her how to speak. She needs to actually own it. So to go back to, when you said how, I've had different examples. I've had women working with me who ended up divorcing because they knew that that's not that I was teaching them on, or coaching them on how to divorce, but I've had women divorcing after we finished a journey. I've had people quitting their jobs after they finished a coaching journey with me because they've learned so much about themselves that they realize the context in which I'm working is not the one I want to thrive in. So I am ready for something else. I've had women who were promoted. And it's so interesting now that I'm reflecting on your question. I do have lots of scenarios where people do quit. And here, women and men at different levels. So when people really see and connect with that power, they can't go back and fool themselves anymore. And that's when you really live your life fully and wholeheartedly. So sometimes you can change that context, but if you can't change that context, you go, you know what? Well, what do I need to do here? Well, I need to change my own context and create my own reality. So these are some of the examples that happened.
What you just said there, you can't fool yourself anymore.
No.
Isn't that interesting? Because the world is a wonderful place to distract yourself. If you want distraction, you can probably find a dozen ways to distract yourself. Heck, you are all probably having the biggest distractor device in your hand right now, your phone. And you distract yourself from what you know to be true. But you eliminate the distractors, and then it's staring you in the face. I can't fool myself anymore into that I like this, or fool myself into submission,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or tame myself to be this way. So you have people divorcing, quitting, getting promoted, because that's the other side of it,
Yes,
is
that's the other
getting
side of it. Yes. Mm-hmm.
getting promoted. How many have just done a 180? And I mean, those are pretty significant. But how many have just done something really, really bold, like quit their jobs and like started traveling across the world? I mean, have there been any that have been so significant that you're like, wow, how did they do that? Why did they do that? That's phenomenal.
That is phenomenal. I have not coached anybody that I can think of that changed their life completely, because I don't do life coaching. And I guess this might happen a lot when people are looking at their whole life. My coaching is executive and career and performance and leadership. So that's so the examples that I gave you are related to this, except that women who divorce, because we were looking at all areas of her life. So
Ah,
yeah, that's what we were looking. And at that point, this example, I was offering life coaching and career
gotcha.
coaching at the same time. So that's the example that you will see is different from the others. Mainly the biggest one has been people literally quitting and quitting. But I tell
Yeah.
you, it's so funny. I actually don't joke about this because I know that change happens, but you can't predict what's going to happen. So when I'm hired, I do share this with the sponsor, whoever hires me in an organization, be it the CEO or HR. And I do say that I can't guarantee, what change is going to happen and if the person is going to stay or may want to change. So, I don't know. So I had an instance when I was coaching an executive, and after the sixth session, we met to close, and he was very senior. We were supposed to meet his boss and HR to close the program. And the last session, he goes, "Oh, Leila, can we meet outside?" And I said, "Yes." So we met outside, and I could feel something had shifted. And he came and he goes, "I can't thank you enough for these six sessions. It was a wonderful journey." And I submitted my resignation. So we actually celebrated his, that was so bold. And
Yeah.
he said, one of the sessions that made me question my life and my existence in this organization is when we worked on my values, because I realized my
Oh.
values are not aligned with the team and the organization. I've got a different vision than theirs. And he was a very values driven man, but he wasn't aligned. So I remember going back to the sponsor and I said, well, as you know, we won't have the last meeting because the person has, and needless to say, I never got business from that organization anyway. So never heard from them as long as they paid my last invoice, but I never heard from them since then. So, and it's okay.
Well,
As long as
it sounds like you did your job, because
I,
your client is whomever you're supposed to be coaching. And it
and we're
sounds like
still in touch with, and he moved to the US, and then he moved to another country, then he moved to the US, and we're still in touch.
that's fantastic. And he's probably
Yeah,
living this amazing, fulfilling life. Be-
absolutely. That makes
and
my heart filled with joy when I see this.
absolutely, because that organization probably wanted you to coach that individual to
Yeah,
fit more in their mold. And that's not
absolutely.
what
And that's not
happened.
what I do. No, no, because it's not my agenda. Coaching is never my agenda. I would never force what the organization wants to get out of someone. I'm not that type of coach. And ethically, I can't do that.
No, because your calling is to connect people to whom they really are, not
Absolutely. And what?
not
No,
who the organization is paying you wants
no,
them to be.
no, no, no. That's not who I am.
So, what is your vision for the world? Because I know that you, and your place in it, because I know that you are a dream big kind of woman, and you are fulfilling this role as your mission in life, because you are drawn to it. You believe that this is what you were put here to be. What do you see yourself as in this universe and doing this work?
Hmm. That's a new dream that I have, Audra, and I'm glad you asked that question, because again, it takes it to again a new journey also for me to keep growing is being in touch with nature, especially here in Turkey. And when I used to go to Spain for my leadership trainings and spiritual training, I used to go for a year, like, every few months I go for a week for a ceremony and retreat. The power of nature and the wisdom of nature and Mother Earth in helping us to connect with who we truly are, regardless of those roles, is my mission. And I've been on journeys, training journeys about female embodiment and female archetypes. So my new dream, is to really help bring all these elements together outside of a corporate environment, so that these female would be giving themselves an opportunity to go on retreats to actually discover their awesomeness, connect with their female energy that helps them be the best leaders of their life and in their organization, regardless of what they want to do. Really help them connect with their spiritual side to really feel grounded. So, and being in touch with nature, being mindful, eating healthy food, breathing fresh air, and being connected with Mother Earth. This is my new dream.
What does that look like? First of all, sign me up. I'll go wherever it
I
is.
will keep you. Get
Wherever
ready,
it is.
Audra.
So with this now, once we all get to go out of timeout, is there a physical retreat that we would be able to experience this? Because it sounds amazing, especially if it's all about female embodiment. There's something powerful that happens when women are connecting with other women. There's this
Big
energy like
Mm-hmm.
no other that I can describe, and it just electrifies you, and you can feel it, you can see it, and you can see it in each other's faces. So you have this in the works. Tell me a little bit more. I'm very fascinated about this.
Watch that space. I will keep you posted with that. So it's, these are new dreams, and just wanting to be creating something that co-creating actually with other passionate ladies as well, in terms of bringing this into the world outside of an office environment. So really being in touch with nature. So I will definitely let you know. And I do believe in the power of female circles, because I've been in them and I continue being in them. And I see that power of the female circle and the female energy. And because, again, another thing, the driver behind this also is, organizations are, there are so many few women in the C-suite environment where I'm working. And I want to see more women in there, women owning their awesomeness, women embodying their different female archetypes and energy, not trying to fit into the gentleman's club, or because I'm the only woman, I need to be like them. No, we're not like them. We're different than men. They're awesome. We are awesome. We all have different energy. I mean, physiologically speaking, we're not the same. So we can't be having the same behaviors to have the same impact and pretending that, no, that's okay. It's not okay anymore. And that's why I'm here, to help women believe in that and own that.
I am so grateful that you do that, because, as I've said many times on this show, literally, this show, my passion is to change the world. I want to change the way women look at themselves and feel about themselves. I want women to change the way they look at each other and eliminate that old terrible idea that we are each other's competition, which we are not.
Oh,
We are our greatest assets, and
big time.
you're helping that along by having women connect within themselves, because once you connect with who you really are, there's no way you can look at another female and go, you're my competition and I don't like you. There's no way,
Absolutely.
because we're just
I
not built that
love
way.
that. And you know what? I love what you're saying, because that's another thing that I focus a lot on with my clients is what is so unique about you, because no other person has that uniqueness. Energetically, we're not the same anyway. So we can have the same skills, the same background, but we're not the same. The way you engage with people, the way you speak to people, the way you care for people is never the same. So people cannot copy that. And that's what makes this uniqueness. And women who, I am a strong believer that when women support women, we all grow and thrive. That's what I'm here in this world. That's my life mission. That's
Well,
my dream.
thank you for dreaming big. Thank you for dreaming big. Thank you for sharing with us a little bit of believing in ourselves to dream big too, because I think that we all forget how to dream big.
Mm.
We
Hmm.
forget.
Hmm.
And thank you for the reminder.
My pleasure. And you know what? You something else I wanted to add to what you've just said. I think for me, it's not just about dreaming big. And I that's an invitation for every woman listening to this show. It's to dare to dream big. There's a difference between dreaming big and daring to dream big. And I want to focus on daring to dream big.
And you can tell the difference because it's when you dare to dream big, it's that tightness and that
Mm-hmm.
anxiety and that
Mm-hmm.
excitement
Mm-hmm.
that you can feel immediately.
Absolutely.
Immediately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if it scares you, you definitely should do it.
That's the thing. Because if it doesn't scare you, that means it's not going to challenge you enough. And if you want a plateau, well, then go for the things that don't scare you. The things that you've already seen, things you've already done. But if life is worth living, every day we have is a new dream, new seeds that you can plant. What seeds am I planting every day in my life? How do I want to show up in my life? How do I want to live my life, regardless of what other people are doing? I'm coaching at the moment, or mentor coaching. Um, you know, Many people who are questioning their existence and the way they live in their life. I think if there is one thing I'm so grateful for the pandemic, is definitely giving this time for people to question their existence. Am I here just to wake up and eat and drink and work and earn money and then go on holiday? Well, the answer is no. That's just existing. Do I just want to exist, or do I want to thrive in my life? There's also a big difference.
Most definitely. This time out has been, and I've said it many times before, it has been a gift
Big
because
time.
we all had to slow down and think. We couldn't distract ourselves with travel and meetings and
Mm-hmm,
whatever.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
We were
mm-hmm.
in timeout and we had to think. And
Absolutely.
I'm here to echo what you have said, that there is magic, pure magic outside your comfort zone. 100%. And I am
Mm-hmm.
so glad that you have made it your life's mission to specifically and passionately help women to connect with their own magic, to show up in the world as they're supposed to, and give them a reason to thrive and to dare to dream. I love that.
Oh,
I absolutely love that.
that's music to my ears. Just hearing you saying that, I go, oh my God. Yes, daring to dream big.
That is what you're here for. And
Mhm.
once again, I'm so excited that you spent this time with me today and spent this time with all of us and sharing just a little bit of your passion and your wisdom and what you bring to the world. If there are people out in the audience that want to know more, want to connect with you, hire you, how would they
Mhm.
connect with you?
So the easiest way to connect with me is on LinkedIn. So Leila Rezaiguia on LinkedIn. And you can also connect with me on Instagram. And yeah, and my email also is Leila, Leila, at compass with K, compassconsultancy.com. And I'm sure, Audra, you'll put these details also on the
I
show
will.
notes.
I will make
Yeah, it
sure
will be
that
lovely
everything is posted.
to hear from you, listeners. And I hope you found it useful and a little, fire ignited in you. And if it's not scaring you, then don't do it. Because if it's not igniting something, making you feel uncomfortable, well, then it's not worth it. Life is worth living fully.
Once again, I cannot thank you enough for spending your evening with me today and sharing so much of this fire that you have. And I hope that it ignited some people. And I hope that there's a little bit of fire burning in each one of your bellies, hearing her message. So thank you again so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Audra. It was a beautiful time spent together. You really helped me. I'm feeling that fire inside me, just talking to you and just appreciating you and the awesome work that you're doing. It's please continue shining and giving the voice to other women to inspire other women. And I can't wait to have you in our retreat.
I can't wait. I will be there. I will absolutely be there. And I am so grateful for being able to do this, because I think that this is what I'm supposed to do too. So
Absolutely.
So once again, thank you to Leila, and to thank all of you for spending your time with me and with Leila. And I am so appreciative of your support. Until next week, we'll see you again next time. That's our show. I want to send a special thank you out to our guests for being so generous with their experiences and their stories, as well as our sponsors, so they can allow us to continue to tell these stories. I also want to say a special, special thank you to all of you, this community that we have been building one person at a time, so we can endeavor to change the world one interview at a time. I could not do any of this without your support, and for that, I am forever grateful. I look forward to doing this again, so we'll see you all next week. That's our show. I am so grateful for each and every one of you and your unwavering support and your continued belief in this movement that has become much bigger than me, much bigger than just a podcast. It has become this forward momentum that we are all doing together. If you are ready, or you know somebody that is ready to tell your story and share your value with the world, please connect with me. You can reach me at audra@womeninthearena.net. I am so honored and thankful that you will share your story with me, and I'll make sure that it is well taken care of. I will never stop thanking each and every one of you, and I cannot wait to talk to you again next week as we share another woman's story and we celebrate her doing extraordinary things in plain sight. We'll see you next time. This is just